Okay, here we are, a couple of minutes late. So, good evening, all guys.
Hello.
So, we have Liam on today, Liam O'Neill, the
How are you?
Prove It guy. Prove It guy. So, I'll let Liam introduce himself in a moment. Just check that we've gone live and wait for a few notifications to come through. So, if anyone's watching this, if you could say hello, good evening, it's coming home, or whatever floats your boat.
Is it coming
Uh,
home? That's the question. That'll be the one question now.
that'll be the one question. Closed question. So, but we'll find out in a few hours' time whether or not it's any closer coming home. So we'll see. We'll see. How are you, Liam? How's your day been?
My day has been very good. I'm just working away. I'm building a website, so that took up most of my day. And then just my general day to day of being awesome has kept kept me going. So it's been a good day.
Love it. And that's what it's all about, being awesome.
Agreed.
So I've had a couple of hellos. So Stephen, Mr. Target, how are you? And Claire, we were just talking about you. So
All
I
good,
was saying,
obviously.
oh, most of it good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was saying to Liam that you probably have a few things and questions and things. So feel free to crack away. Liam, do you want to introduce yourself? You are known as the Prove It guy. And could you talk a little bit about you, what you do, and
Yeah.
uh,
Uh, I'll start at the beginning. I suppose that's where most epic stories start. I started off in school. I wasn't really good at school. I was not allowed in any of the classrooms bar one. So I stayed in one classroom for about 3 years of my schooling. Left the school, and my careers teacher told me I would be in jail or the army. So that's typical Irish school for you. Um, I left school with no qualifications, no idea, and ended up just working in a wee shop. And a magazine, a martial arts magazine, came into the shop. I don't know why or what happened. I didn't even watch martial arts. I wasn't into anything. I saw this magazine, and then I was like, "That's me. That's who I'm going to be." So I started studying martial arts. I've been doing it now for just over 20 years, which means I am now considered a martial artist in the world of martial arts. They tell you that you have to be doing it for longer than you haven't been doing it. So when I studied martial arts, I ended up moving over to London to work with a club because I wanted to learn all the secret stuff, all the like how to get kicked in the balls and how to break a chopstick with your throat and bend spears and smash bricks. And obviously, fight and all the other stuff that went with it. But when I was doing that, I ended up being like one of the head of the club I was in. I'm actually ranked the highest in Ireland and Northern Ireland in the two arts that I studied, which were Tai Chi and Kung Fu, which was a tiger and crane system. I ended up randomly moving in with another instructor who happened to be a magician, and he did a magic trick. He put a coin into a closed can of Diet Coke, and my mind was just blown from there. And it took 3 weeks of getting at him and at him and at him till eventually he taught me how to do it. And then I started studying magic and ended up like I studied for quite some time now. I've probably been doing it about 15 years, something like that. I developed my own style, mixing martial arts with magic. Because of that, I ended up being a consultant for a few TV shows and a few specials and things like that. And then
wow,
along the side of that, I fell into most of this. A person asked me when I was performing, I did a mind read, and the woman was like, "Oh, if you can take that thought out of the person's head, could you put a new one in there?" And of course, when I'm all full of myself working, I'm like, "Yeah, no bother." And she's like, "Could you put the thought in that I don't smoke anymore?" And I was like, "Yeah, obviously." And then I had nothing to lose, so I tried it. I did two things. I made sure that I was going to pass and it was going to be funny or it was going to work perfectly. So the first thing I did was suggest, because I'd learned hypnosis through the magic and stuff, suggested that the cigarette was too heavy to lift. So she couldn't lift it off the table. So then I was like, see, you can't smoke now, you're because she couldn't lift it. But in that, she told me that she felt something shift and she didn't feel like a smoker and she didn't feel a need to. And when I let the cigarette be light and she could lift it, she didn't smoke it. And I thought, well, that's mental. How did that work? So I was like, right, that's my new challenge. So I started studying hypnotherapy, hypnosis, stage hypnosis, street hypnosis. I started going out and doing it everywhere. And then I started to work with anxiety, depression, suicide, all that sort of stuff. And as a sideline, I thought I would work with some professional fighters as well, just to give me a. I thought that because the depression and stuff was so deep, that I'd work with fighters because that'd be fun, and I'd get to like fight them and do hypnosis all at the one time. And I quickly realized that the person that sits at home full of anxiety and stress and like isn't comfortable and happy in their life is exactly the same as the fighter. The fighter has anxiety, stress, struggles, and then I realized that everybody's the same. We just put on different masks and we just do different things. So I wanted to work out why that was. And that's where the Prove It guy started to appear. I started to demonstrate things. Like if you go and watch my TED talk, you'll see me break a chopstick with my throat, and my brother comes out and kicks me in the groin. And the whole point of it is to show that anything's possible, and that like pain, stress, anxiety, all of it's in our head. It's fully real to us. But if we are comfortable with that and knowing that it's there and it's real, then we can change it. So I started to develop my own way of teaching the idea of your body physically and mentally is capable of anything. And then the emotional side came into that as well, because I realized that when people are mentally and physically stronger, their emotions don't run them. They have more control over it. So then I started to work with people just on developing themselves. And I noticed that the more people that learned self-awareness and observation and got better with themselves, got better at building rapport, which means they started to get promotions and work. The entrepreneurs I worked with started to get better at being an entrepreneur. Like it's really easy to be an entrepreneur if you just sit in your house and you don't talk to anyone, and like you don't really want to be super successful. But if you want to be super successful, you have to jump on a camera. Like in this day and age, you have to be on camera. You have to learn about technology. You have to trust in your ability to do all of this. So I noticed the ones that were physically, mentally, and emotionally stronger, they were the ones succeeding. And then off the back of that, I ended up working with companies doing the same sort of thing, integrating everybody together. Like the way I would have described it was like I was a personal trainer for companies. I would come in and I would help with physical health, mental health, and emotional health, like a PT would. So then everybody works together like a team and creates whatever it is that they want to create. So that would be the fast version. That's my 20 years speed. Does that?
Well, we were talking before this, and you were asking, how long is this going to run for? And we'll said we'll keep it below an hour, but really I could pick all that apart. I mean, I love magic, close-up magic. I have fat fingers, so I've never been any good at close-up magic.
You just haven't had a good teacher like myself.
Hey, that's what it is. So we will keep this below an hour, but there's a heck of a lot in there to cover. Wow. So really just from the start, so it all kind of started with working at a wee shop.
Yeah.
Kung Fu magazine came through. Whoever was on the cover.
I actually rang that guy, the guy from the cover. I was like, right, he was standing in front of the Queen for some reason. I was like, what's going on? How did he get in front of the Queen like that close? And he's supposed to be a deadly weapon. I was like, that must be some amazing connections and like madness story. So I literally just rang him. I was like, hello, you've never heard of me. I'm from Northern Ireland. You're in the middle of London. I'd never left Ireland before. I'd never been anywhere on my own or anything. And 4 days later, I was standing in Surrey in the middle of London thinking, I'm going to be Jackie Chan. It's going to be deadly.
Class.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's where it started. You've a lot of reverb, I see.
Yeah, I saw someone drop a comment, so I thought we'd fixed it. Yeah, Mark can't seem to fix it.
He was practicing his Spice Girls singing before we got on, and he liked the sheer look of it. Bit of reverb, so.
Bit of reverb keeps it interesting. So we'll let Liam do most of the talking, and we'll get some questions answered in a moment. So it really kind of started with Tai Chi and Kung Fu, and you talked about Tiger and Crane method. So what does that look like?
the martial arts I studied was a traditional Shaolin martial art. Well, the lineage went right back to the Shaolin Temple, and it was a tiger and crane system. Really beautiful looking system. You look amazing doing it, and really powerful. But I quickly discovered when I started to get into competitions and tournaments that it wasn't as useful. It looked pretty, but it just wasn't as effective as it could have been. So I went and studied a load of other things off the side of that as well. That's where it started, yeah. Do you believe in the law of attraction? I'm not seeing names, so Lord, if you want to throw
Yeah, so one of the challenges with this streaming is that can't see names unless people log in. So a question from Claire: do you believe in the law of attraction?
I believe the law of attraction is a wonderful idea, but I think what's missing with a lot of people I meet through the law of attraction is the action that goes with it.
Yeah.
So they I'm all for vision boarding, like I did it last week with my group. I think that you should have like a full, intense feeling of where you want to be. So instead of I know you're all creating your own business, but imagine the conversation went, you want to run your own Amazon business and you hoped that you made some money and it was going to be really cool. Or the conversation was, I want to run my own Amazon business. I want to have affiliates all over the world. I want to have my own big, massive warehouse where everything's stored and I know where everything is. And I want to pull in 20 grand every month, without fail. And then that's going to mean for me that I'm going to live my life where I can live beside the beach. And every morning I'm going to get up every morning, walk outside, not even have to worry about my business because I know what's going TikTok. Walk outside and stand at the sea for half an hour and then come in and do an hour or 2 hours work and move on. That the person that has story number 2 is going to know how they achieve that, what they're going to do. And they know that every day I need to get up and I need to do this, this, and this. Whereas the person that just wants the business and wants it to be successful and it's going to be cool when they have it and they're going to be able to tell their mates down the pub, here, I sell stuff on Amazon. And the mate's going to go, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And they're like, oh, it's really cool. I couldn't get into it, but it's really good. I think the passion has to come through where you want to be, and that's where the law of attraction will matter, like the action. So I'm a firm believer in Mark Manson's method. It's the do something method. So it's take the action, and the action will create inspiration or motivation. So instead of waiting to be inspired or motivated, just do something. And then hopefully that something brings you closer and closer and closer. So I do like the books, The Secrets, lying beside me, and I've met different people that are high up in that arena. And most people in this country anyway will know Conor McGregor, and he's a big advocate for the law of attraction. He believes that's what helped him get where he was. But he didn't just sit at the side of an octagon going, I'm going to be the champion. He went in and hammered people and then won things and became it. So I think it's a good idea and a great premise, but I do think that they don't push the action enough. If we could just will it into existence, then we would just will money into our hand and then it would be there. But then you think, why would you bother doing that? Just will whatever you want to be outside. If I want a Porsche, will it to be there and then it's there. So I do believe it's a great idea and it's a great place for people to start, but you really need to be willing to take the action with it and put the work in.
It's interesting because I ran a challenge last week, and the day that I managed was around mindset. So we did a lot around limiting beliefs and bad use of creativity, things like that. And part of the assignment was to come up with vision boards that were very specific to different things. So it's actually really interesting because everyone on the challenge was already selling, but I think what really helped them was to take their head out of the hamster wheel and kind of refresh it. Mm-hmm. So if you're already taking action, then something like, what's it called? Law of attraction could be beneficial, or a vision board or something like that. So it really did resonate with quite a few people. That's interesting.
If
So,
you're sorry, go ahead.
carry on.
I was just
No,
going to
I've got
say,
the reverb, so you carry on.
if you're taking the action already, it's such an easy thing to add to your life. The problem with law of attraction is usually people just say to you, "Oh, here's the secret. Start with this," and you're like, "Cool, right?" And then they start with that, and they read it, and they get into it, and they love it, and it's all love and light, and you just be like, "Yes." Like I've studied many different things, and I remember whenever I studied Reiki when I was 19, hadn't a clue what it was. I hurt my shoulder, ended up 3 days later in a class. Like my first question in it, I don't know if anyone, like, it's a holistic therapy with energy work, and my first question was, "What do you?" Because she said to everybody, "What is it you're here for? Anyone got any questions?" And everybody said, "I'm here for this because of this." And my first question was, "What is the word that you keep repeat?" Everyone said a word. I don't know what the word is because it was my instructor's girlfriend at the time, so I didn't even know what the word. I didn't even know what it was there for. But I became a master level, or a master level. I think it's weird to call anyone a master after 3 levels and 2 years of work at 21, like running around Northern Ireland being a master. Um, but whenever we learned it, there was some people that just wanted to know everything. So what when I meditate, how should I feel? And the instructor would say, "You'll feel relaxed and you'll feel like a warmth," and that's how everybody felt because that's what they were told. And then there would be like, whenever you see energy, what color is it normally? And the instructor would say it's like a reddy haze with a bit of purple and a bit of blue. And then we'd do a whole thing, and you'd ask everybody, "What did you see?" "Oh, I saw a reddy haze with a bit of purple and a bit of blue." And you're like, "Are you seeing that, or are you just projecting it because that's what you were told would happen?" So I think that when we start with law of attraction without action, we don't need to take the action because supposedly it's just going to come to us. But if you're already, like you said, you have people already taking action, and then you say, "Right, start to add this visualization and start to really connect in with it and feel it," like it makes it a massively different then. So I hope that makes sense. Like, to me, there's two different versions. There's the starter version where we just read it, it's nice, go away, love and light, and just be nice. And then it's the other one where you just like full belt connect in and
Yeah,
believe it and move forward. So
yeah, it's I think it's something that we don't talk enough about in our communities in terms of like Amazon selling and that type of thing, because it's very, very linear. So black and white numbers, very kind of distinct. So this morning we had so me and my team, the Amazon team, we had a meeting from 7 in the morning till 10, and we outlined quarter, what we're going to do this quarter, the rest of the year, 3 year, 5 year, and a 10 year plan.
yeah.
So I'm not going into much detail about it because it's personal to me and my team, but really it's going to affect them, create legacy, and they all just, well, they all really bought into it. I think they were a little bit overwhelmed. I got a couple of messages about an hour ago with products, and I was like, is it not 2 o'clock in the morning? Why are you still working? So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a conversation tomorrow about, yeah, you need to respect working times. But yeah, it's one thing to take action, but you do need that vision and that, to keep you going and make it. I mean, what would be really useful, sorry, is something actionable that if you run the business and you're perhaps feeling a little bit overwhelmed, there's a lot of bad news with Amazon at the moment. They're making things very challenging and just very difficult and moving the goalposts without any sort of clues. So
Mm-hmm.
not Amazon per se, but a challenge or a difficulty like that. How would you kind of help advise or deal with something like
The
that?
the first thing I say to people is the only certain thing is things are going to be uncertain. So no matter what business you're in, what life you're in, what like I've had like championship fighters under me, and I've had people running multi-million-pound businesses, and it's all the same. You can never lock everything in. Like, you're doing your 5 year, 10 year challenge or 5 year, 10 year plan, but in 4 years you might make a complete shift. away from that and do something else. And you have to be comfortable with making that. Most people will stay because they're like, no, I planned this. And if I use my example, when I first started training martial arts, I wanted to be a martial arts instructor. That was it. Like everything, my first 8 years just led to owning my own studio. And I got very good at what I did. And I started to meet people who were doing what I wanted to do. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. And then I got behind the curtain with them all. And I see them living in wee shitty houses and walking to work and struggling all the time. And I was like, this doesn't add up at all. And then they get into their class and they're like putting on the mask and they're like, right, I'm the Kung Fu guy. And you're like, hold on a minute. We just found breakfast in the corner of a house, like this, a nightmare. And I'm like, that's not for me. So I made dramatic change and went a different direction. So if you are comfortable with uncertainty, then you have to have things in place for when things change. So Amazon, you technically have no control over it.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
House rules. Yeah.
I know I have no control. So what's a good idea? Having a backup plan is a good idea. Having a routine. So I call the routine I teach with my group is the superhuman hour. You get up in the morning and you take an hour where you meditate, you get out in nature. My version of getting out in nature starts with, at the very least, seeing a tree. If I look out my window, I see a tree, I can visually put myself outside. So I might be here and I need a wee breather and I'll look at the tree and I'll reset myself. We do some journaling, we do some meditating and some breathing. Then a wee bit of exercise as well. So you don't have to do anything crazy, but just giving yourself that hour to every day, you're rebalancing, you're working on your mental, emotional, physical health. It means that when challenges come at you, you're not like flapping. No one has ever, and you can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but nobody has ever had a problem and flapped and fixed it. Normally we flap, the problem gets worse and worse. Somebody tells us to settle down, you go away and you stamp and then you stop and you restart and then you go, oh, I know what I need to fix this, and then you fix the thing. So having a self-awareness, that's where the meditating, the breathing and just being out in nature for me come in. All the other stuff help as well, but that's the journaling. Like if you have uncertainty in your life and you know that it's going to be things are happening, then when you're journaling, you're tracking your sleep. For example, in my journal, we track sleep. If I know that for the last 5 days I haven't got my 8 hours, day 6 isn't going to be great, and day 7 is going to get worse and worse. So I'm able to look at that journal and go, right, I need to pull back here. I'm developing self-awareness, but even if I forget somehow, it's wrote down, I can just look at it. I'll look back through I check in, I look back over the week and go, right, sleeping's off, eating's good, fix the sleeping, keep the eating, and move on. So if you're having all this stuff, like you're saying, like Amazon's changing, but life in general, like you could be having the best Amazon time of your life, and then somebody comes in and says, we're pregnant. And you're like, that's not part of plan A, B, or C. This isn't anywhere. And then life's tossed up in the air and you have to deal with it. So if you have all these things in place, like for me, it's a superhuman hour. If you have that in place, then every day I'm doing something to make me physically, mentally, emotionally stronger. And then I can tackle the problem from that area instead of tackling the problem with how most people wake up, especially if we're in this sort of business. You wake up and the first thing you do is look at your phone, look at numbers.
Yeah.
And you're like,
that's a real discipline not to do that.
Yeah.
But
first
it does
hour
help.
of the day, no phone.
Yeah.
So I always say to people, like, oh, I could never do that. And I'm like, well, what time do you get up in the morning? I get up at 7 o'clock. What time have you looked at your phone? 7:02. Get up at 6 and look at your phone at 7:02. And then we're seeing, is it a work thing or an addiction thing? If it's an addiction thing, then we need to look somewhere else. But again, I would be asking myself in my future pace, is this something I want to do forever? Do I look at that and be delighted and love the numbers? And this is why I'm selling on Amazon, or this is why I'm creating a business where I pull in clients, or if I'm trying to be social media famous. Do I look at it and love the numbers every time and be like, yes, this is brilliant? Or does it dictate how I feel? Like someone who's trying to lose weight, standing on a scale every day. Start of the day, stand on the scale, lost a pound, best day ever, let's go. Then they are bloated, or they've ate something quite heavier, or they haven't peed the next morning, they're up a pound. That's a whole day's road off. So if I was given any advice, it would be to understand that uncertainty is going to happen. So you need to have things in place for that. And then, like you said, like Amazon could do whatever they want. So if you had like a connection with some other, like even if it was like another store, like an Etsy store or your own website or something that can be a follow-on, then hopefully that answers the question. And if you want me to go deeper, that's fine too.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that pretty much everyone, I would say, can implement. For me, I've implemented journaling recently. So at the very end of the day, it's literally just my phone. It's not a piece of paper or anything like that, so I can do it anywhere. So I just write a note on my phone, save it. I this reverb is terrible. I'll email it to myself so I can see it the next morning if I need to. Remind that I got it yesterday alive, save it to a journal, and then I can refer back to it. So it's a habit that I'm really starting to build, and it's great. It's really, really helpful.
I just see there's a question here. What do I write in the journal?
Oh, let's have a look. See, ask that question.
So I've been teaching journaling for ages, and just everything I try to save myself as much time as possible. So I'll let you into my journal. So we're here. So this is the way my journal works. It's on Amazon for all of you Amazon people. But you just copy it, and work it out. So I start my journal with what day I'm on. Really important, because if I'm writing day 587, first anchor of my day is I've been consistent for 587 days. I have not, like, I've done this. Then the date, and then the time I get out of my bed. So not the time I woke up. So you might set an alarm for 6:30 in the morning, and then you get up and you write 6:30 in the morning, but you've actually lay and looked at Facebook and faffed about and wasted time. And then I write 3 non-negotiable things I'm going to do in the day. I make them easy. I make it so that it's like drink a glass of water, get out in nature. My actual ones are meditate, get out in nature, and read. 3 things I do all the time. So I make the non-negotiable 3 things that I'm doing. And then I do a short journal in the morning. So like things like how I slept, what I feel like in general. And I just say to myself, like, how do you feel today? Feel good. Right, elaborate a bit more. I feel good because I slept well, and actually work's going really well. And then I start to elaborate a wee bit more on it. I'll write down like if I was training and I'm sore from training, I'll say sore from training, or head sore, spent too much time with the computer yesterday, cut back today. So I just write anything. When you start journaling, if you've never journaled before, I don't know if people have, but whenever you start, you'll end up writing things like, and I say write anything that comes into your head just to get you started. And you'll write things like, I don't know what to write. That guy just said journal. So here I am, just write. I feel like an asshole, but there we go. You happy now, Liam? And then by 3 or 4 days, you start to, and I'm not writing that again. How do I feel? Cold. Feel cold. And then you go, well, maybe I should do, and then you just start to build on it. Then at night, I write the time I'm going to bed at. Sorry, I forgot about this, but in the morning, I write 3 things I'm grateful for. And they might be like family and supportive friends. So that one's important. I always use that example because some people will just write family and friends. And I'm like, we all have that friend that's an asshole. Do you want them in it too? Are you grateful for them? Or supportive ones would be a bit more clear and a bit more focused. And then you could write like, I'm grateful for the weather because you know you're going to be outside, or grateful for Amazon not making dramatic changes yesterday, or whatever. And then at night, quick night journal, how I feel, how the day went. Did I get things from here done? If not, I need to push them to the next day. And then 3 things that went well. The reason for this is that you're not ending your day stressed to the max, thinking how badly your day was, and this happened and this happened, everything's terrible. You have to sit and go, right, what were the 3 things that went well today? And if you're completely stuck, you just go up to your non-negotiables. Well, I meditated, I drank my water, I went outside. So you're ending your day on. There's loads of other wee things in it, like wee ideas for life and health, and I thought this was helpful for people, like a tracker. I actually have a PDF of this. I can just send you it as well, Lloyd, and you can just send it out to anyone who wants it, or they can reach out to me or whatever. And then this is important: how to make a tough day better. So I give you a few ideas. I don't know why Power Nap looks like that now that I see it on camera, but bongos.
A set of cherries, yeah.
Yeah.
A pair of cherries,
There's space. So say play music, I would write, like, for an easy example, where I'm here, The Greatest Showman theme tune, or something else that you like, or whatever, just something that connects in. So instead of you going, today's shit, this is the worst day ever, don't know what to do, you trigger yourself, today's crap, right? Where's my phone? Greatest Showman phone, because of you all doing Amazon, probably already in your hand. Get out of what you're in. Greatest Showman. And just like I have a song, or not a song, a video that has a haka, and it has loads of stuff in it, like quotes from movies, and I listened to it even before this, so I know I'm coming on here. It's the last thing I listen to before I jump on a video. So the last thing I hear before I get on any video is what we do in life echoes in eternity, and I'm going to show you how great I am. And I'd be psyched. There's a video of me actually doing the haka on stage with an actor from Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
I love superheroes. He was in Arrow as well. He was a superhero in Arrow, or he was actually a super villain. But so I'm on like full on haka, like the whole planet. Segue. So the idea is, at least 6 things that you can do to make your day better, instead of going, today's shit, I don't know what to do with myself. And I also find it very important, if you haven't done this already, the people that you live with, people around you, ask them, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite quote? Just wee things. What's your favorite meal? What's your favorite drink? Whatever. So say if you're in your house and your partner, your child, whoever it is, looks annoyed or a wee bit down, instead of you going over and saying, are you all right? What can I do? You just play the song. And just pump, like you just. So if you knew my
yeah, wow, that's a great set of advice. Yeah,
thank you. So say if you were with me and you seen me and you're like, God, he's a bit down, you could just start shouting "no pain" at me, and Rocky 4 anchors will come into my head, and then like you can see it already happening because I've got it embedded in there. So if I'm in the gym, I'll be walking around the gym going, no pain, because that's what he's doing in Rocky 4, and the guy's just shouting at him while he's doing it. So I have all these little anchors in that trigger that, but I know the anchors of the people around me. So if they're struggling, I don't need to go, are you all right? I just stick on something that automatically, like if you don't know anything about the people around you, put on Queen. Everybody gets going to a bit of Queen.
Everybody gets Queen.
Yeah. So I think it's really useful for yourself, but also just as a way of knowing the people around you as well.
Yeah, state management is very important. Yeah. So your anchors time to that. So
yeah.
Cool. So guys, we're about halfway through. So just a little bit of a segue, as Liam mentioned, let him get out.
I'm going to answer that question. Do you want me to answer that question before I go? Do I believe that key focus routine is the key to focus in any walk of life?
Well, I'll let you compose your answer in your mind. I would just drop a few links here for you and for Eamon. So, in terms of what kind of going on in iGen at the moment, we are putting together quite a lot over the next couple of months. We have ran our second challenge last week, went very well, and we're looking to run our next one start of next month. So if you guys are interested in this type of thing, we'll launch a new challenge at the start of next month. Next week, Eamon will be in the hot seat asking the probing questions, and we have a wholesale, really quite interesting person who is absolutely killing in terms of wholesale. So it's going to be Eamon and her talking next week. And if you're interested in having a quick call with Eamon to discuss support or just advice. He's doing 15-minute walk and talks. So basically, you can jump on a call with him, speak to him for 15 minutes, which will turn into probably an hour. But yes, so if you want to get that booked in, there's a link there too. So I'm just going to search around for the group, Liam's group, the Prove It guy group, and I'll let Liam answer that question now he's had time to think about it.
No time to think. These answer is yes, and we're done. Look, the reason that, like, so you're saying that you boxed. The reason that you stay on track as a competitive athlete is because normally you're told what to do in all areas. You would have had to cut weights. You're told what to eat and how to eat and when to eat and what to do, when to train, how to train, what type of opponent you have, all of this sort of stuff. So if you take that out into life, if you're self-aware, so the superhuman hour makes you self-aware, then I know by the superhuman hour with journaling, for example, I know what my sleep's like. I know if I've been eating enough. I know, like, I track my food anyway, but you don't have to track it. Just you'll track your mood, your energy. So then you can go, right, I need to eat more today. Like, if some of you are and I know a lot of you probably are, on your phone and working through what you're doing, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you think, probably should go to bed here. And then you go to bed and you get back up at 6 or 7 or 8 or something, and you're like, right, I'll just get back at it a wee bit and do it. You need fuel for that. If you're always thinking this sort of work as well, like even for me personally, when I'm coaching and stuff, it doesn't just end when the person leaves. I'd be thinking about what they had said to me. I'd be thinking about how I could have dealt with that better or do this. Or so the same sort of thing now. You'll be thinking about products and wonder what the next big thing is, or wonder what the next thing Amazon's going to do, or I wonder what the guys above me are doing. Like, something I think is really important is whenever I found a mentor or a guru or a master or whoever, I would ask them what they wanted me to do, and then I would get them to start talking about themselves so I could learn what they are doing. So this is what I should train in. What do you happen to be doing? And when they're doing that, I would train my stuff, and then I would go train what they were doing. This is what I should read. What are you reading? Just out of curiosity. So I'd read what they told me to read, and then I'd read what they're reading at the time. And it's why I got as far as I got in everything that I'm doing. So if you have a routine that is it has to be unbreakable, I think. That's why the morning's the best, because if you know it's going to be a mental day, just get up earlier, do your routine, and go on. You could, like, I put it out in a podcast recently about how your routine actually starts at night, or else it's coming out soon. I can't remember because I've scheduled some as well, but it's one or the other. And it's about the night before prepping. So if you want to get up and do some exercise, but you have difficulty getting up in the morning, then put your exercise clothes right beside your bed. So when you sit up, you look, you see them, and you go, right, get them on, get going, let's do it. So if you have a routine that's unbreakable, like your non-negotiables, every day you're doing something that's for you physically, mentally, and emotionally to be stronger. So if you do that every day, then you're able to deal with things much better. It's one of the things that messes athletes up so much is they have so much structure, plans, everything, and they have people that deal with everything, and then they're like, right, you're retired, bye. And then the next day they wake up and they're on their own going, what's the crack now? What do I do here? So I think it is key to start with a routine. It doesn't have to be an hour-long routine to start. You might just get up in the morning and do 10 minutes of breathing exercises, or get up in the morning and do a wee bit of meditating, or just journal for 10 minutes. Like, it doesn't have to be the full hour. Just start with something. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Let's have a look at some of the other questions just to make sure we're covering everything. So Claire, what kind of points do you write down in your journal? Cover that.
That was that full rant there.
Yeah. Why is this? Because I've got that there.
It can be, they can throw questions about anything. I'm happy about anything that I do, whether it's mental, physical, like anchoring, dealing with anxiety, dealing with stress, dealing with people, how to deal with people that you can get rid of, how to deal with family members that you can't get rid of, that you tell them you're going to be an Amazon seller and they go, that's stupid, why don't you get a real job, like be a dentist or whatever. Like, I know I used to get that all the time. Get a real job, like.
Honestly, I'm just for me, your thoughts on cold water treatment because my morning routine, if you know, I take it you know Corky River from,
Yeah.
so I do cold water every morning. That's my non-negotiable. If I don't do it, and it does start the night before when I have to fill that bin up, if I don't do it, I have just, I would say about 30% of the day I could have had. It just really does anchor me.
Yeah.
Being out in nature, birds singing very early in the morning, that type of stuff. Yours, I mean, have you tried any of that? Maybe looked at anything like that, or?
I think there's 2 points to pick up on what you just said there, but we'll go with the cold water first. I did the Wim Hof theory before it was cool, before anyone knew it existed. One of my clients was a friend of Wim's, and he got me
Wow.
into the whole thing, and I ended up doing the whole program, and I liked it. But again, when I started to take back for it, I was like, well, it's just a routine. It's just me doing something for myself. So I then looked into the science. I was like, well, there must be something mentally rewarding in this as well for people to do as crazy as they go into it. And unfortunately, the science, like one of the funniest experiments I ever looked into was they got runners, and they got three groups, and they all did the same run. There are people that do like Spartan races. They put one group in cold therapy, one group in just nice warm pool, and one group just did nothing. If you are a super athlete and you want that extra 1%, the cold therapy is better than the warm. But if you're just a
Right.
normal human, then the warm and the cold, there's not enough difference for it to be really worth doing.
It's just as
But
well I'm a super athlete then, isn't it?
exactly, that was it. But the point is that if he had come out, if Wim had happened to fall into a really warm lake and nearly drown, and then have this spiritual awakening and come out, he would talk about the warm water cured him. It's what he believes in what he's doing.
Mm.
So if you go and you hate cold water therapy and you force yourself to do it because Joe Rogan does it and he says on his podcast that it's amazing, it's not going to work for you because you're going to hate life. You're going to hate doing it. Everything about it is going to be terrible. If you love it and you know that this makes me feel better, like it makes you
Like
feel better.
a placebo.
Yeah. So a placebo, nocebo, if they work, they work. Do it. It's fine. The other point I'd like to touch on is if it has that massive of effect on you that if you don't do it, it lowers your daily percentage by 30%. Or for some people, they would say stuff like, see, if I don't get out into the sea in the morning, that ruins my day. Then I'm like, well, then that's a problem. Because this isn't something that builds you up. All of the little
That's
journaling,
interesting.
the meditating, the
Yeah.
journaling, exercise, all of it should add to your. So the easiest way to describe this example is if you were looking for love, you shouldn't be looking for someone to make you happy. You should be looking for someone to enhance your happiness. So if you're looking for cold therapy to make you live the life you want to live, it's not going to work. And if you miss a day, it might work for a while and you feel great every time you do it. You do it 12 days in a row and you feel amazing. Day 13, you miss it and you feel a bit shit. Oh, it's because of my cold therapy. It should have like a compound effect. The more I meditate, the stronger I am mentally. The more I train, the stronger I am mentally. It has a compound effect. When I get injured, say, or if I'm working a lot and I can't get to the gym, or when COVID happens and the gym locks down for 6 months, I can't then be like, well, that's my life ruined. Can't get to the gym, can't get that. It all should compound. You should be.
I think it's more because if I don't do it, it means I've probably slept in. I've went
Yeah.
straight to a meeting. I went straight to work. So yeah,
So
it's
you let
that
yourself
correlation.
down.
Yeah.
That's what it. So that's for me. Why do we do everything that we do? Look deeper than like Liam told me to journals. That's why I journal. But what do you get out of it? Oh, I don't know. He seemed very passionate when he talked about it, so I just do it.
Yeah.
So you look deeper into it and you build that. So then when you don't do the cold therapy, it's your fault. Unless obviously something crazy happens, like you had something that wasn't planned, like an emergency. But if it's literally just I just didn't get up, then it's not about missing the cold therapy. It's about letting yourself down and disappointing yourself. So then you're just
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I try to build all these things to have a compound effect where they just keep building and building and building. And then if I miss some here and there, like the meditation is a complete non-negotiable for me. I haven't missed a single day of meditating in at the very least 14 years. I've been meditating for about 20, but about 14 years ago, maybe longer, I decided I'm going to do 100 days in a row as a wee challenge. And then by day like 60 or something, I was like, I wonder, could you do 1,000 days? And then I just never stopped because I noticed the benefit for me doing it. So when you're thinking about any of these things, then you just want to start to build on it so that if you miss it, it doesn't crush your day. You just catch up with it again the next day and build on it. So that's what I think of cold therapy.
Fair enough. Question. Have you any techniques in dealing with temptation? I am going home for the first time in over a year and I'm afraid of eating like a beast after being so good recently. Can't bet mine Mars treats like, but it's making me a bit anxious as I am weak when it comes to food at times.
So my first question would be, have you changed your relationship with food, or have you just taken yourself out of the scenario? So now you don't have to worry about it. So you haven't actually dealt with the problem. You're just leaving it. So if the problem's here and you just move over here, still there. And then if you go back to like having that anchor already is really annoying for you because you're going back to your ma's house and your part of you's like, oh, she's going to feed me. Like, that's not good. So I would be looking rather than the temptation, because it's not temptation. Your mom, if I don't know where you're from, but if she's like a wee Irish mom,
Pretty sure that's Claire from Derry.
So she'll be like a Miss Doyle. She'll be like, ugh. And we get looked at like there's something wrong with us. Here, do you want that? No, actually, I'm fine. I've literally just ate an entire chicken dinner. I know, but you just have one, and you're like,
oh. Go on.
I think about the Monty Python whenever they just have one more. It is a wafer thin, and then he blows up. So, whenever you're thinking about it, do you think so? You can answer this here. You can send me a message or whatever, or at least ask yourself: do you think that this weekend or whatever it is at your mum's is going to rewrite the way you live your life? Like when I did a 10-day build a better relationship with food challenge, it just ended last week. And one of the things I was saying to the people is you have learned so many new skills and techniques in this last 10 days that even if you fall off the wagon or slip down the slope or whatever, you'll catch yourself quicker because in the past, you did it because you had no understanding. I don't know what happened. I just gained 4 stone. You're like, well, what happened was you ate more than you burned. So that's how you put weight on. I know, but I did this as well. It doesn't matter. That's the gist of it. That's what happened. You might come back with the medication excuse as well, but there's not many medications that people take that if they ate healthily as well would pile on weight. There's some that will put weight on you, but most of those people, when you ask them, do you eat healthy? They'll say, well, what's the point? I'm like, well, to stop piling on all the extra weight. So ask yourself would it be better if you're going home for a week, say you go home for a week and you just enjoy it? You live the life of like letting your mom wash your clothes and make you soda bread and feed you all day and just enjoy it, enjoy being home, especially since most people haven't been home for over a year, and just love it. And then just go back to life and you'll go back into your routine that you've created now. So the temptation is really hard to overcome because it's something that you have told yourself you're not allowed to do. We just turn into children. You're not allowed that. And you're like, well, that's all that I've ever wanted in my entire life is that one thing you said I can't have, like a pencil. You can't have this pencil. That's all I want. Give me it. Like you just want it. So it wouldn't be looking at the temptation. It would be looking at the end goal again. So if I was if you're a competitor and you need to not eat unhealthy food, you need to be strict, then just, I couldn't think of a nice way of wording it, but just catch yourself on and be the competitor, because that's what you have to do. If you're just a normal human being and you know that you're an adult and you can make the choice, I can choose to eat the stuff or not. Mom will tell me off, but I can do it or not. I can tell my mom before I'm going that, look, when I come back, like I've changed the way I eat. I get bloated when I eat bread, so I don't want to eat any bread. Like, if you were someone that discovered
Well,
that if you drink whiskey, you'll hammer everybody around you, no one's going to force you to drink whiskey because it's going to affect them. But normally they don't care about it whenever it comes to just not affecting them at all. Oh, just eat it, you'll be fine. So that's what I would look at, not the temptation, but what is the overall outcome. And if you can just come back and eat the way that you want to eat after, 1 week isn't going to destroy like a year.
yeah, Claire's going to be doing it. It's her own challenge. She's home for 5 weeks, so it's not a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah. Then, and so this is something I always tell people whenever I say about clearing out the people around you that aren't useful or helpful for you, that are actually pulling you down or stressing you out. The comeback is always, what if they're your family? I'm like, right, two things. If they're your family, just spend less time with them. You don't have to write them off, but you can spend less time. And that might mean even if you live with them, you can just go outside. You can take a break every so often. And the second thing is to prep. So if I know I'm going home for 5 weeks and I'm going to be overfed, I would tell them. I would tell my mom, look, I'm like, if it was this
I've worked
extreme,
hard, and
yeah, I've worked hard. I don't want to fall back, and I would hate. I'm actually stressing about coming home because I think I'm going to fall off the wagon. Will you please protect me like you did? Like, I would really big up their job and be like, protect me like you did when I was younger. Look out for my best interest. Just make sure that I don't go off the rails and don't do this and don't have all of that cake and chocolate in, because I don't need it. You can eat it if you want, but I don't need it. So you can just pre-warn them. And then it's a case of when they come in, do you want a biscuit? Remember when I text you? Oh yeah. Instead of going, no, I'm all right. Oh, I don't really, and we have all these reasons why we don't tell them. Like, no, I'm quite happy. I don't, for about 2 years, I didn't eat any sugar, chocolate, biscuits, buns, cakes, anything. And I would just tell people. And I have people that have pushed and pushed. I've went, all right, cool, no bother. And I take it off. This happened at a friend's house. I took a plate with a piece of cake on it, and I put my foot to the bin and put all of it in the bin. Cake, plate, fork, everything. And they're like, why did you do that? And I was like, I didn't want it. Well, you should have just said you didn't want it. And I was like, I did. And now you'll remember, like, never offered me anything ever again, because they were like, well, that was rude. I'm like, yeah. So preempt it, tell them. And then remember, you're an adult too, I would imagine, if you're on this call. So you're making choices. So yeah.
Cool. So that's us running kind of towards the end of this. So guys, I've like 8 other things I could talk to Liam about. Just the magic on its own would be awesome, and kind of the work you've done with mental health and trauma and that type of thing. It's just, and TED Talk. Yeah, what was that one? Just quickly.
I just threw that across. That just came about. I'm a firm believer that you should ask for what you want. Find the people that do it and ask them how they do it. So I found out somebody was running a TEDx convention. So I just rang them and was like, what do I need to do to get on to talk about this? And they asked me to help out with some things. And I was like, yep, no bother, I'll do it. And I went on, and the video was online. I do pain management in it. I talk about the whole idea is limitation is a mirage, which spells my name. And the best bit of my whole journey was getting to hand this back to the teacher that told me that I'd be in jail of the army. I was like, here, I'm not in jail of the army, and I wrote this book, and my picture's on the front. So my whole idea was limitation is a mirage. If you believe it, you can achieve it, all that jazz, but with action. So I'll not spoil too much for you, but like I do a magic trick in it. to talk about persuasion, and it's one of the funnest things you'll ever learn is ethical persuasion. So you're persuading, like I do it all the time, to persuade people to make better choices in their life. And then I show some magic, I show some skills of the vagabond, which is the ball kick and the chopstick and everything. What I like about the talk is if you watch it, you'll see my brother come on stage and he just waves and he comes on, he does the whole thing and leaves. I teach people how to do stage presentations, how to do presentations to camera. And I use him as the example. He's never been on a stage before in his life. He did not understand the importance of a TED Talk. He didn't understand there was such a thing as stage fright. In his head, he was like, right, Liam's asked me to come on stage, kick him in the balls, get off stage. That's wave at the people when I go on. He told me to wave at everyone. So if you watch it, he just walks in and like he's going to the shop. So again, right. He doesn't have those limits that most, like if I said to everyone here, I want you to do a live in the group. Actually, I'm saying it right now. Do a live in the group about how awesome this talk was or how shit it was, depending on which direction you're going. Speak to camera, 30 seconds. Love the live talks. It was brilliant. The interviewer was the greatest interviewer I've ever met in my life. And Liam is one of the greatest people I've ever even heard of. Some people will sit going, I am not a chance. Nah. Why? Like, what are you afraid? What are you really afraid of? We're afraid of people we don't really know thinking he looks a bit weird or what's he talking about? Like, whereas Sean didn't know any of that. Like, my brother didn't know any of that was a thing. He was just like, go on, wave, stand in front of him, kick him in the bag, wave, get off, bye. So, yeah, I use him as that example all the time.
That's really interesting. I think I found it actually. So I'll get that linked as well. That's
cool.
Definitely worth a watch. Cool. Well, guys, I'm going to link Liam's group as well. So if you want to reach out to him there, get involved, it's called the Prove It Guy. Link it in here. And yeah, I hope that's been, well, I've just been blown away with some of the things there. So yeah, been really, really helpful. Thank you for coming on, Liam. And
very welcome.
Yes, will not be your last time, I wouldn't have thought.
Cool. Well, everybody knows where I am if they want to reach out, so I'm quite happy. And I'll send you the PDF of that journal, and people can print it off or just make up their own, or at least look at it and see what it is that I do in my journal.
Amazing. Love it.
Cool.
Well, guys, have a good evening and stay cool. Have a good one.